What was your motivation to play? What instruments do you play and why? What influences helped your involvement in music, at least to shape it? Who inspired your interest in music? Nationally known artists, or was it local musicians and artists? What have been your personal experiences with music since your beginnings? How has your perspective changed over the years? Do you consider yourself as having natural talent or a gift? How would you evaluate your relationships with your peers?
Welcome to another edition of Around the Clef. On today's episode, I had a chance to actually play this Hammond organ. But before we get into all that, I'm going to let you meet a few team players that took part on this project. I went ahead and played it one afternoon, and I recorded it. So then I took it down to my brother-in-law's house, and he took a listen to it. He said, I think we can do something with this. I said, well, it'd be nice if we could have somebody that could sing it. And I said, well, I don't know anybody that can sing it that high. Well, lo and behold, Dietrich, my brother-in-law, he knew Justin Thompson. So I said, well, how do we get a hold of this guy? Well, one thing led to another. In the meantime, I was worried if we couldn't find anybody to sing this song. I said, well, it'd still be nice if we did an instrumental. So over the years, I have worked with Seso. He's a saxophone player, and he's quite good on it. So I got a hold of Mike and asked Mike if he could do the vocal line. He says, not a problem. He says, I'll give it a try. So one thing led to another, and we really dove into the project, and we've had a lot of fun with this and putting out this video. How long have you actually been playing music over the period of years in your life?
I started playing guitar around 14, 15 years old, honestly. It was when I first got my first guitar, and I'd always been singing throughout. I mean, my mom said I used to stand in the crib and hum myself to sleep, so I'd always been interested in singing ever since I was seeing Elvis on TV when I was 5 years old, and I was kind of in awe by him, and just, I always wanted to sing, and then the guitar playing came later and whatnot, and I've dabbled around with, piano and stuff like that, but never really got real good at it. But I can play rhythm guitar and sing, and it's been, about 30 years now I've been doing that, so.
And have you ever done much recording in your life over the years that you've played?
I've only ever recorded one song, and that was in my nephew's apartment, and it was pretty cut and dry, just with a computer, not all detail like we've done down here with the video and the recording, and it's a lot more involved than what I thought it would be, But
this song here, was it much of a challenge for you to do?
Yeah, it was. After I listened to the song initially, the first couple times, I was like, wow, the chorus gets pretty high, but it was something that once I practiced and got more familiar with it, felt more comfortable with it, and. So yeah, it was a challenge at first, not saying that it's something I could do, all the time and again, but for recording and stuff, yeah, it was a challenge at first, but kind of leveled out as I got more familiar with it. So there's a lot more involved than what you realize. Like you say, for 4 minutes and all the hours that Gene and yourself have wrapped up into the video and the recording and the tracks on tracks and the editing, and I had the easy part by all means. I'm not gonna complain about that. But
would you like to do more projects in the future?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would definitely take it into consideration in the future, and I'd be honored. You know, honestly, I would like to. So,
And how did you ever get involved in doing this project?
when the time you guys showed up, I was looking at possibly pursuing getting in another cover band, and the more I thought about it, the more this is more my speed. You know, it's just really no pressure. I mean, I was nervous at first. Like the first day you came down, I'm sure you've seen it in the filming and especially like in the recording, and hearing the nervousness in my voice, and from then till now to the, you know, so yeah, I would definitely do it again without a problem, you know, without even thinking. So look me up.
Thanks a lot, Justin. Now I'm going to bring in another gentleman that took part on this project, Mr. Gene Dietrich. How many years have you actually been playing the bass guitar, and how many years have you been involved in music?
Oh gosh, how far back do we go? The 80s, right?
Yeah.
Maybe early 80s. Which you've been in it longer than I have, but nevertheless, it's quite an experience. There's an amazing amount of local talent, good musicians, but there are still issues with being in a band and playing out. Back in the day, I mean, it was 4 or 5 nights a week every week.
Was it much of a job for you to mixing all these tracks together?
It was. You know, getting good recording, no matter what you're doing, the live stuff, trying different mics, trying different techniques. Same thing with the video that you go through, lighting and, you know, what happens in a give and take. You know, something might have went wrong or just don't get the feel you want. I didn't, I mean, you have to know a little bit about MIDI and stuff like that, but I didn't get into too much MIDI mapping on my computer software. I'm not that familiar with it, so I used an older MIDI sequencer to do that. Basically, took each instrument and recorded it in analog form, so all of my tracks ended up being WAV files. And that makes it a little bit more difficult to edit in some ways. But that was the simplest way to do it.
Did you enjoy working on this project with us?
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been nice to get together with fellow musicians and artists, you know. And they're always interesting, and you know, we'll probably be doing some more stuff.
What did you think of Justin's overall performance on this song?
Yeah, he came a long ways. It's probably nothing that he would have ever considered doing on his own, so it's a little bit different style of music probably than he would even be comfortable with, but he put a lot into it. He did his homework, he kept practicing, and I think he did a phenomenal job. It doesn't sound like it, but that's very hard to sing that song.
Was this project, did it take a lot more work than what you thought it would take, or what's your perspective on it?
Trying to get kind of a studio setting set up where it's workable, you know. It's a work environment. And now we did a lot of stuff with headphones to try to eliminate room noise. And that was a new thing for Justin. Singing that way, that's totally, some people probably don't like it too well, but then like with the sax, it was better to have sound coming out of speakers and have that, for him to have that feeling. So he's actually playing in a room. Of course, Mike played in bands his whole life, so you're used to the sound around you, your environment. But recording in itself, it's scary, you know? Think, oh my gosh, that mistake's forever. Unless Lance lets me hit the delete key. But yeah, there was just a lot involved in getting things set up. The equipment's old, and you know, a lot of issues with that. But right now, it's 10 times better than when we started.
And I know you put a lot of hours and time in this project. Were you satisfied with it?
Yes. Yeah, it's very impressive. Justin's singing, Mike's sax playing, and your keyboard playing. It's all.
Also, your bass.
It's awesome. My bass playing? Yeah. I've always been an awesome bass player. A place to put my thumbs, you know?
Would you consider doing more projects in the future?
Yeah, it's always been an interest. So, sometimes you do projects for other people. It's fun to have hobby time to just do stuff. I have recordings from my two sons playing and stuff that we did together. And nice thing about it is, you can put that along with family pictures that you have and movies, and it's really amazing what you can do now with the technology being what it is. Call me.
Gene, thank you very much for all the hard work you've done on this project. And now here's Justin Thompson, Gene Dietrich, and myself doing Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum.
Turn cartwheels across the floor. I was feeling kind of seasick, but the crowd called out for more, and the room was humming harder as the ceiling flew away. Then we called out for another dream. The weight brought a train, and so it was later, as the miller told his tale, that a face at first just ghostly turned a wider shade of pale. They might just as well have been closed. And so it was later, as the miller told his tale, that her face at first just ghostly turned a wider shade of pale. pain.
Great job, Gene. Great job, Justin. Now we're going to go ahead and do another version of this. We've actually done an instrumental version of this song. We brought in Mr. Mike Seso on the saxophone. He did a great job on it. But before we get into that, let's get a chance to talk to Mike just a little bit. How many years have you actually been playing?
I first picked up the sax, I was about 14 years old. I was in the seminary in Girard, Pennsylvania. After 3 years, I quit there and went to Conning High School to graduate. And so I started playing sax in bands. I was 16 years old. And if you want to do the math, I've been playing in bands for 61 years now. I've been in several different bands over the years. My current band is called Back When Band, and I still play on weekends, and it's something I really enjoy doing, and I'm going to do this until I can't do it anymore.
Mike, when I brought this song down to you, what did you actually think of it?
I like the song. I remember the song because we did it in the Looking Good Band many years ago. Now, I didn't play a lead in it, but I remember us doing that song. And it's a good song by Procol Harum. Very nice, pretty song.
Was this much of a challenge for you to play, or is something you have played before? Or what's your perspective on it?
It wasn't much of a challenge because I play strictly by ear. So what I did, I put it on YouTube and listened to it and played along with it, and it was easy. I just wanted to get it right. So just a couple times through and I had it, no problem.
Mike, how did you like working on this project, and would you consider maybe doing more projects in the future?
It was fun. I mean, I've done recording before in a studio, but never by myself like that. So it was a different experience, but also very enjoyable.
Thanks, Mike. And now we're going to do an instrumental version of Whiter Shade of Pale, featuring Mr. Mike Seso on the saxophone. Great job, Mike, Gene, Justin. Until next time, I'm Lance Drew, and I'll see you around the Clef.